So I thought I might just copy her, and I took my... Did I take these socks? No, I did not. Hang on. Hello and welcome to another episode of Confessions of a Yarn Addict podcast. My name is Anniken. I design knitting patterns. I teach knitting workshops in person and online, and I sell yarn through my website yarnaddict.co.uk. You can find all the links to everything I'm going to talk about below this video. If you're new here, welcome. I really appreciate you being here, and if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back. I really appreciate you too. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and if you like this video, click the thumbs up, and if you have any comments to make, please leave a comment. I love reading your comments. So thank you for joining me. So today is another podcast episode, and I forgot to check which one. I've got a feeling it might be episode 79, but who cares? It doesn't really matter. So today I've got some finishes. I've got a new project on the needles, and I've got some future plans that I'm going to talk about. So let's get started. So I'm filming this on a Wednesday morning, the day before it will hopefully be on YouTube. So I'm hoping to get this up on YouTube on Thursday as normal. But that means I've got to edit it today and upload it, and it just takes forever to upload to YouTube. But hopefully I will get it uploaded by tomorrow, and it will be live on Thursday as normal. I was going to film this like earlier in the week, and then I thought, no, maybe I'll leave it till next week. And then this morning I was like, no, let's film an episode. It's a little bit, because I finished a couple of things. Well, I finished one thing and I started something. So I thought, let's just go for it and film this episode. So we were in Wales over the weekend. My daughters both live in Wales. They share a house together, and we went to see them over the weekend. We drove up on Saturday morning, and the youngest daughter actually didn't realise we were coming up for the weekend because she hadn't read the WhatsApp messages properly, and she actually went away to see a friend in England. So we didn't see her till like, we saw her briefly when we got there, and then she left, and then we saw her Sunday afternoon. And so we went into Cardiff with my oldest daughter on Saturday afternoon. I've not been to Cardiff for what seems like ages. And I love Cardiff, and I've not been shopping in Cardiff for quite a while, been over a year. So I fancy going into Cardiff and having a look around the shops. So the weather was not great on Saturday. It was showery, a lot of heavy showers, a bit of sunshine, but it was incredibly humid, quite warm and very, very humid. And Cardiff, most of the shops, well, a lot of the shops are in this shopping centre, which is quite nice to walk inside when it's raining outside. But very few shops actually had air conditioning on. And I walked through one shop just because they had air conditioning on because it was so hot. And but yeah, I really enjoyed shopping. Didn't buy anything significant, just a few bits and pieces, but I really enjoyed having a wander around Cardiff despite the heat. I did spend a little bit of time in a coffee shop doing a bit of knitting and having a slice of cake, so that was really lovely. And it was just a nice relaxing afternoon. And then I met up with Simon. Vanessa went to a party, and I met up with Simon, my husband, and we went for a meal, and then we went to the cinema. We saw Asteroid City, I kept calling it Android City, but Asteroid City is a Wes Anderson, is that the one film? I don't know much about directors and things, but I didn't think I'd seen one of his films, but apparently I have. This one was better than the last one of his films that I saw. The last one we saw of his films, I was a little bit, I think that was in like late 2020, and that film was strange. This film was a little bit strange, a little bit kind of artsy, but I quite enjoyed it. It was enjoyable to watch, but it was set in the desert in the United States, in the desert, like I guess New Mexico, Arizona, I can't remember. And the cinema was so hot, you felt like you were in the desert. It was just so hot and humid in there and so unpleasant. So I wasn't very impressed with that, but I did get a bit of knitting done. Now, Hannah from the Corner of Craft does a segment on her YouTube shorts and Instagram reels where she demonstrates how long a film was by how much knitting she got done. I thought I would copy her and show you how much knitting I got done. Finished the other pair of socks I talked about last time, so I cast on for a new pair. Now I got this yarn at Spinny Yarn in Bobby Tracy in Devon last time I was there, about a month ago I think, teaching. It's Opal. Let me see if I got the label. So it's Opal. What colourway is it? I can't find the colourway. Country Saloon, colour 11293. So Opal Country Saloon, colour 11293. So basic, fairly basic standard sock yarn, but I love the colours. Now it came in like a standard kind of opal type ball, like one like that, but bigger. And I find them quite, because I like to keep my sock knitting in a tiny pouch like this, so I can fit in my handbag easily. So I find those big balls, for one thing, they're difficult to knit from, and also I just find them bulky, so I always wind them into a smaller ball. So I had that ready to go, and I cast on Friday. Yeah, I think I cast on Friday evening. No, I didn't. I think I cast on. Did I cast on Friday evening, or did I cast on in the car? Maybe I cast on in the car on the way to Wales. But I got probably like half the rib done. I decided to go top down because that would give me a longer straight bit of knitting to do when you go toe up, especially because I decided for this sock I would do a heel flap and standard heel turn rather than my normal afterthought heel. If I'm doing self-striping socks, I like to do an afterthought heel, but I thought I'm not doing, this is not self-striping, so I thought I would go for a heel flap and heel turn. So I decided to go top down for a change, and because it would give me like a longer straight piece of knitting, and I thought if I get more knitting, if I go longer than I'm supposed to on the leg, I'll just have a longer leg. It doesn't really matter, I'll still have plenty of yarn. So I cast this on. I can't remember if I cast on Friday evening or Saturday morning. I think I probably cast them in the car on Saturday morning, and I knitted part of the rib because I was trying to finish the rib before I went to the cinema, because I decided to do this one in stocking stitch because the last sock I did was in rib. So I thought I'll do this in stocking stitch. So I wanted to get the rib finished before I went to the cinema, because then I don't have to worry about counting rows and things, or rounds for the rib. So when we were in Cardiff, I went and had a bit of a break in the John Lewis coffee shop and had a cake and a drink and did a bit of knitting. So I sat there till I finished the rib, basically. So when the film started, I had got to where that marker is. I did knit during the previews and the ads and stuff at the beginning, and then at the end of the film I'd got to where that marker is. So I did from there to there during the film. The film was 105 minutes plus whatever the previews were. So that's 60 rounds, and I have 64 stitches. So let's see how many stitches I knitted. 64 stitches per round times 60 rounds is 3,840 stitches. So that's what I knitted during the film. And then I added, so the rib is 25 rounds. I did 60 rounds, and then I did another 10 after that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10. So the leg is 70, 80, 95 rounds long. And then I did a heel flap and heel turn on the gusset. And since the film, I've knitted quite a long way on the foot. I can't remember how many rounds I wanted the foot to be, but I've done 52 rounds on the foot. So it's coming along. Let me just put it on my, actually I have my other socks ready on my sock blockers to show you, but let's just put this on the sock blocker because then you can see it a bit better. There we go. So I knitted Sunday morning. We had quite a kind of relaxed, we were just chilling in my daughter's house, so I did quite a lot of knitting Sunday morning. I didn't sleep very well Saturday night. I've not been sleeping very well for a while now, and I didn't sleep very well on Saturday night, so Sunday morning I was really, really tired. I got up in the night for a few hours and I went back to bed, had a lie-in. So when I got up I was quite tired, and so Sunday morning we just chilled at my daughter's house, waiting for my youngest daughter to come back, and then I knitted quite a bit on this sock then. I should have been knitting on something else, but I was just too tired, so I just kept knitting on that one. And then when Emily got back, we went out and we went to this really lovely place called Ogmore Castle. See if I can remember it. And the girls hadn't been there before, although it's just a few minutes down the road from where they live. We hadn't been there before, but it was really nice, and we had a bit of an adventure walk, I would say. So when you get there, where we parked right next to the castle is just like castle ruins, and there were stepping stones across the river, so we thought we would do that. And there was a family there with a few young kids, and the dad was taking a couple of the older kids across and back again. The mum was taking photos and stuff, so we were waiting for them to finish, and then we went across, and Simon and the girls went across. I was trying to film as I went across. I was going to walk across like half it and film it in portrait to put on social media. Then I was going to turn my phone over to landscape and film the rest for the podcast. Well, I got like a quarter of the way across, and the river was quite a lot deeper than I expected it to be, and the gaps between the stepping stones were quite far. Now, I'm a bit of a wimp. I'm very cautious. I do not want to fall in the river. I also have arthritis in my knees, and I do have a little bit of a balance problem. So stepping across is not that easy. I really need to step in my right leg because my left knee is worse. And some of the steps are quite hard, and I got like nearly halfway and I was like, this is scary. And Simon said, do you want me to come back? And I said, no, that's fine. And the guy, the father of the young kids, saw that I was struggling, said, oh, I'll come and help you. And I said, no, I'm fine. So while Simon was kind of like getting his shoes off so he could wade across to me, this young guy came across behind me and kind of held my hand and helped me across a few stepping stones. So slightly embarrassed. I'm probably old enough to be his mother though, so I guess he was probably thinking about that. I don't know. But he helped me a few steps, and then Simon came, so he took over and kind of helped me the rest of the way. So yeah, slightly embarrassing, but I got across. And then we walked up this path, and we got to a bit where we climbed over like a stile type thing, get into a field, walked across the field. There were some horses at the far end of the field. Got to this bridge across the river, walked across the bridge, and then we had to climb over a fence to get into another field. We walked across this field, got to the other end of the field, had to climb across another fence. At one point we had to go under a electric fence, so crawl under the electric fence. And then we got to the back of the castle, and if we'd gone around the castle to the right, it would have just been a short slope to get up and out of the castle grounds, if you like. But we went around to the left into the moat bit of the castle. So when we got to the end of the moat, there was like a really steep hill. It was like that, and the only way you could get up it was to like on your hands and feet kind of thing. It had like some steps, so you could like put your feet in there, but you had to kind of support yourself with your hands. So yeah, it felt a bit like a adventure walk. So we went across stepping stones, we climbed over 3 fences, crawled under an electric fence, and climbed up a hill. So it was quite good fun. Anyway, I have a little bit of video to show you, just to show where we're walking. If you're in the Bridgend area, I highly recommend it. It's really, really lovely. While we're kind of talking about socks, let's talk about the other socks that I finished. So I finished, this was the one I'd already finished, and this was the one I was working on last week. So last week I was, where that marker is, this was knitted toe up. So I finished the top of the foot. So I finished that in the car up on Saturday. I knitted some of it before. I didn't knit all that in the car. I knitted some of it before Saturday. Can't remember when, but I guess I was probably up to by here somewhere, maybe. I finished the rest in the car. I didn't have a sewing needle. Well, I did have a sewing needle in the car, but it was in my bag in the back, so I just put it on hold and I put it in my bag and grabbed this sock and cast that on. And then I finished the casting off, because I use a needle for the sewn cast off. I did that on Sunday morning. And then on this one, I put in a piece of waste yarn for the afterthought heel. On this one, I started the heel. I can't remember when I started the heel, but I didn't have a piece of waste yarn with me. Normally when I'm doing toe socks with afterthought heel, I will put a piece of waste yarn in my knitting bag, so when I get to the heel, I've got it if I'm out and about. But I forgot to do that. So sometimes I will also just pull, if it's a center, if it's like a cake, but you can pull from the center, I will sometimes just pull a bit of yarn out from the center and use for the waste yarn. But I'd wound it into, like, I've actually put it, oh, here it is. I put it into my basket for my crochet blanket, use the leftovers for that. But I wound it into that kind of ball, so I couldn't pull from the center because I can't get to the center. So I just put a marker in the middle of the row, so I knew where I wanted the heel to be, and then carried on knitting. And then I thought I would film it as a tutorial when I undid the, because you have to cut the yarn and then unpick half around. But then I was thinking, I'm sure I've done that tutorial before. And I had a quick look on YouTube yesterday, and yes, I had done that tutorial before. But I did film myself unpicking it, and I put it up as a YouTube short on Tuesday, and also up on Instagram Reels and on TikTok, because I am now on TikTok. I've only got 2 videos up on TikTok, I think, but do follow me on TikTok. I'll put my link below. I've also joined, talking about social media, I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Twitter had a bit of a big wobble the other weekend, so I don't know how long I'll be staying on Twitter for, but I'm still on Twitter. But I also joined the new Blue Sky social media, which was kind of hailed as the replacement for Twitter. And then Threads by Instagram and Facebook went online last week, or yeah, last week I think it was. So I joined that. So I'm now on Threads as well. So I'm Yarn Addict Annie on all of those social medias. So if you're on any of those, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, do look me up. I can't see myself keeping up with all of those. We'll see what happens to Twitter. I haven't done much with Blue Sky yet. I'm also on, what's it called, Mastodon. I might leave Mastodon and close down my account there because I haven't used that hardly at all. And I can't, it's so complicated to join. I can't see that sticking now that we got Threads and Blue Sky. So I don't know what's going to be kind of the replacement for Twitter, because who knows what's happening with Twitter. But I'm on Blue Sky, I'm on Threads. So if you're there, I'll put all my links below. If you're there, do come and say hello. If you're on Instagram and you want to find me on Threads, I'm the same username, but if you go to my Instagram profile, there's like a number under my username that didn't used to be there. Apparently, if you click on that, it takes you to my Threads profile. Anyway, finish these socks. I'm going to take that marker out because I don't need that there anymore. And these are for my husband. So I was saying earlier that when I do self-striping yarn, I like to do afterthought heels, and that is because if you do a heel flap and gusset, you end up with more stitches across here that you don't decrease, and it interrupts this stripe pattern. So if you do an afterthought heel, you basically just knit a tube and then you unpick half around and knit the heel in, and it doesn't interrupt these stripes. Another thing I noticed, which I didn't do deliberately, was that I ended up with like perfectly matching socks. That's pretty good. It's really hard to match self-striping socks, I feel. But these ended up perfectly matching, which is brilliant. The heel doesn't quite match. Oh, it does mostly. Yeah, on this one I got more of the last colour than I do on that one. So I don't know why, because they're the same. But yeah, it does matches more or less as well. So I'm quite happy with that. These are for my husband. I don't think he cares whether they match or not. He chose the yarn for it. I asked him what he wanted before we went to Spain, and he chose the loudest colours I had. Okay, I knew last night I brought the label up and I couldn't find it. So I'm going to give those to my husband. And the label, so it's Fab Funky Fibres. It's been in my stash for a long time. 75% merino, 25% nylon, 400 meters per 100 grams. And it's called the Big One Mishmash. The Big One Mishmash. So I think that's the colorway. But I love Fab Funky Fibres. They used to be my favorite self-striping colorway. UK indie dyer. I feel like a lot more people now are doing self-striping yarn. I think they were like the first ones that I became aware of, and I've used their yarns a few times, and it is fabulous. So I will link their website below as well. Okay, so let's talk about the other thing I started this weekend. Let me just not pull those socks off. So last week I showed you the beaded clutch that I knitted. I still haven't done the lining. I was going to do it last week, but I didn't get around to it. But instead I cast on for another clutch, and this time it is a stranded colourwork one. So I wasn't sure. I knew I wanted the pink, and I wasn't sure what other colour to go with. So these were my options. It was, first I thought I would go for the pink and the grey, because that always looks great together. Then I thought maybe those two looks good together. If I remember correctly, I think pink and green are opposite each other on the colour wheel, and opposite colours should look good together apparently. I'm not great on colour theory, but that's what I've been told. So I was thinking about going for those, and then I grabbed the yellow, and I thought, oh, the yellow looks nice. So anyway, I ended up going with the yellow. It was kind of like a last minute decision. I cast on, I thought, we'll see what it looks like. I'll knit a couple of rounds. If I don't like it, I'll just rip it out. So I'm doing colour work. I got to about this point yesterday, and then realised I'd made a mistake kind of down here. I skipped around basically. So I had to unpick it, and but no, I'm not quite sure that I had skipped around it, but I just knitted one round wrong, because most of it looked fine, but some of it did not. So I ended up unpicking about 8 rounds I think last night, and then carried on. So I've done quite well. I'm probably, how many centimeters have I got? Okay, so I've knitted about 11 centimeters. I think I want to do 15 centimeters, but I need to double check. So quite enjoying that, and I need to probably not this week, but next week really get on and make the lining for these 2 bags. I'm teaching on Friday and Saturday at the Knitting Hotel in Dawlish in Devon, so I'm losing kind of one weekday this week, and it's Tuesday today. Wednesday today. No, it's Wednesday today. It's Wednesday today, so I don't think I'm going to get the lining done this week, but I need to get on and make the lining for those 2 bags next week. I'm not looking forward to it because I haven't done this thing for ages, but it shouldn't be too difficult to do. So that's my plans for next week. So hopefully on the next podcast I can show you them both finished with the actual lining inside as well. This week is a 2-week video here on YouTube. So at the moment I'm putting out videos every Thursday and every other Tuesday. So Tuesday this week was a video where I talked about my knitting and design story. So how I got started knitting, and mainly how I got back into knitting in my early 30s, early mid 30s, after a long break. And at the time I was suffering from depression. I was on long-term sick leave from work, and I basically talk about how I got back into knitting and how it helped me deal with what was going on in my life and how it helped me to deal with depression. So I will link that video below. It's the video before this one on the channel as well, so I will link below as well. So if you haven't watched that, do go and have a look. It was something I've been thinking about recording for a while, and I finally got around to it, so I quite enjoyed doing that. So I hope you'll watch that. I remember last week whether I said I was going to release this pattern or not. I think I said that I was thinking about releasing it, but I wasn't sure. So this is the Sweetheart scarf. It is 1 skein of Manos Uruguay Fino, which is on the shelf behind me here. 100-gram skein. I think that has about 450 meters. You can do it in a skein that has 400 meters though. Just wear your yarn before and after each repeat towards the end, so you know when to cast off. But it has beads in it as well. I used 1 bag of Debbie Abraham size 6 seed beads, which I also have on my website. So this came out last week. It is 15% off till, did I write it down here? I can't remember, but it is, no, it's 25% off, not 15, 25% off. I can't remember how long the discount is for, but I think it is like early next week, Monday maybe or something, but I'll put the link below. And on the pattern page it says what the discount is and when it ends. So if you haven't purchased this pattern but you'd like to, do make sure you get it this weekend, so you get 25% off. And I'll link it below. If you want to get the yarn, you can get that from my website. I have a choice of different colorways. Let me just put it back on again so you can see what it looks like. It's quite long. You can make it shorter if you want to. That's quite easy to do just by knitting a few repeats. So that's what it looks like on, and it goes down to, if I have it like that, it goes down to like halfway between my chest, my breast and my waist, maybe nearly waist, but I don't know. But yeah, it's quite perfect if you wear it like this to wear inside a coat and things like that. You can also put it on like that, have it a bit looser. So there's different ways you can wear it. I'm really happy with this and I hope you like it. If you've already purchased the pattern, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I've sold quite a few copies already. So if you'd like to get this, I'll put the link below. So I've linked the pattern below, and I'll also link the yarn and the beads below as well. So you can get pattern from my Ravelry and Payhip shops, and you can get the yarn and the beads from my website. Talking about future plans, I said last week that I was going to swatch for the design I'm planning to do with my Orchid in Luxury Yarn advent calendar. I have not swatched for that, and I don't think I'm going to get the swatching done this week because I've been working on a deadline design which I finished, and then I've been working on the clutch bag thing, and I worked a lot on my socks over the weekend obviously, but I have a design deadline early next week, so I need to swatch for that because I'm away on Friday and Saturday, so I need to do a lot of swatching for that. So I'm not going to get the Orchid in Luxury Yarn swatch done this week. I kind of know what I want to do now, so I just need to chart it out and then swatch probably next week, and then I might try and see if I can cast on next week. We'll see. I have another design as well that I want to cast on, which is for a workshop idea I have for the autumn. I also have a design deadline coming up in August that one of my sample knitters has agreed to do. So when we were looking at going to the cinema this weekend, we were looking at films coming out, and I said to my husband, I wonder if the new Barbie movie is out, because I really want to see it. I don't know why, but I really fancy seeing the new Barbie movie. And it wasn't out yet. It's not out till later in July, but I do want to see it when it comes out. So I was thinking, because I always take a sock to the cinema with me, and obviously I don't think I'll finish this sock. Well, I'll probably try and finish the first one, and then I could just cast on for the second one and knit that at the cinema when I see the Barbie movie. But it's a Barbie movie. I'm thinking, should I cast on for a pair of pink socks? So last night I came in here, had a quick look, and I found these two yarns, which I fancy casting on in. They're both sock yarns and they're both sparkly and they're both pink. So we have that one, which I bought a year ago when I went to Norway in end of August, beginning of September last year. I went to Norway, and my mum and I went to a yarn show in Oslo, and I got this one. It's a Norwegian company called Spurtegarn. I will link them below. And it's their merino glitter base, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, 400 meters per 100 grams. And it's pink with a bit of orange, very pink. So I was thinking, if I cast on for those, I can knit on during the Barbie movie and then put it on hold till I go to Norway at the end of August, and then take that with me as my socks in progress to knit on when I'm traveling. And that means I will get them done while I'm in Norway, and I can knit on Norwegian yarn when I'm in Norway. And then I also have this one from Truly Hooked, and this is Sparkle Sock. Is the same blend, I think. Yes, 75% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina, 425 meters per 100 grams. Okay, so this one says 400 meters per 100 grams. This one says 425 meters per 100 grams. But it is exactly the same blend. So I think one of them is labelled incorrectly. It doesn't matter whether it's 400 or 425 meters per 100 grams. My guess would be 400. I guess there is one big supplier of undyed yarns, who supplies a lot of indie dyers both here and in Europe, and I guess both of them have purchased their yarn from him. So I don't know which one to choose. I really like that one as well. I actually prefer this colourway to this one, so I don't know which one to choose. Okay, I think that's enough for today. I don't think I really have any more to talk about. So I'm going to finish the video here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, and please leave me a comment. Just looking out at the weather, it looks like it's going to rain. It's been very showery this week. It was showery first thing this morning, and then it was sunny, and now it's looks like it's going to rain again, and I'm about to walk the dog in about 10 minutes. So that's going to be fun, because neither the dog nor I like going out in the rain. But I'm hoping we'll get some proper summer weather. We need the rain. We haven't had much rain in the last year. And June was the hottest month on record, I think. So I know we need the rain and the slightly cooler temperatures, but I also do miss being able to sit out in the garden. Okay. I'm starting to ramble, so we will finish this here. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.